Good morning, Flosstube, and welcome to Homesteading on the Home Front. This is episode 60-something, not sure what. It is Wednesday, November 10th, I believe, 2021. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, so happy Veterans Day to all of you out there, and thank you for your service. I am coming to you today from my grandmother's kitchen at Armstrong Acres. It's easier for me to film here now that husband is working from home. So, this will probably be the scenery that you see until it gets renovated. For those of you who haven't heard, we are just coming off of our stitch-in at East Hill this weekend. And so I'm here to tell you all about it. Talk about the weekend, show you what I stitched, give you a glimpse of our exclusive Seraphim fabric, etc., etc. So, the first thing I want to do is show you an FFO that was not retreat related. This has been done for a while, and I have never showed it to you. I started stitching this back in April. I think I started it before our very small group got together at East Hill, and I didn't get much stitchy time over the summer, but finally I did get to finish this, which is the Pink Sparrow Sampler by Brenda Gervais. It's all wrinkly, so pardon the wrinkles, but I stitched it in colors that I chose. They're mostly Victorian Motto and Color and Cotton, I believe. This is what the chart looks like. What I did is down here, I added in my name because now it will fit into a standard size frame. So just that little tweak, and my framing costs went down considerably. So those of you who've been watching me for a while know that that's something that I do. I will do the math. I will stitch a project on whatever size fabric I need to in order to get it to fit a standard size frame. And I will also add or subtract rows in order to be able to do that. Now, the second project was supposed to be something that I took to East Hill with me. Oh, and you know what? I don't even have the finished one with me. I outlined, I will show you what it is. It's these little gingerbread men. I outlined the gingerbread men and I was going to fill them in at East Hill, and then last week I got called into sub like for 3 days, and so the teachers were like quizzing the kids, so it was just me sitting there doing nothing, and so I stitched and stitched and I finished the gingerbread men, so I didn't even have to bring them to East Hill, but I took them out of the project bag and put them in a Ziploc bag so they'd fit in my pocketbook at school, and obviously didn't put them back. So what am I doing with those? I stitched them on perforated paper, and I have a cheese dome tray thing that I glued to a candlestick holder base, and so now it's like a pedestal with a glass dome. That was all the rage on Flosstube a while ago, right? Everyone was buying the metal ones from Hobby Lobby. I was too cheap, so I found the cheese dome at a thrift store and added the $3 candle base and painted it. And so I want to display Christmas cookies there on my kitchen counter for the holidays. And so I'm looking for patterns that look like Christmas cookies so that I can display them in my dome. So yes, I have already signed up for Kathy Haberman's hands-on design mystery sale. I'm hoping it's a Christmas cookie. We'll see. All right. project that did not make it to the farm. But I have been stitching on it, and I have progress to show you. So, and they sin. I don't even have the original chart with me. But here is my progress. Now, if you've seen And They Sin, you know there's a whole other panel to this, right? Down here with the animals and the grass. I am not doing that because I already have the frame for this. And so, again, if I can alter a chart to fit a standard frame, I'm going to, especially one like this, which would cost oodles and oodles to frame. So I am working from the bottom up because I am making changes up here that will depend on the frame, you know, how it fits in the frame. So my original goal with this was to have it done for our county or our local fair this summer. But when COVID, or last summer, I should say, no, this summer. God, it's early, you guys. It's like barely after 7 o'clock in the morning. I had to drop little one off at school because eldest had senior privilege and got to sleep in, and so I'm tired. So I wanted to have it done to enter this summer, but I realized that wasn't going to happen. So what I'm doing now is stitching enough so that I can have it done for next summer. It's my goal every year to have kind of like a wow piece to enter in the fair. Not to win ribbons because although that's fun, I want to draw people's attention to cross stitch and show them that this is not ducks and teddy bears like they knew in the 80s. And hopefully encourage them to get back into stitching. All right, so everything from here on out is stuff that I worked on at the retreat. I brought all of these projects. These were the only projects that I bought, and I'm happy to say that I stitched on all of them. I was hoping to have more done, of course. You always do at a retreat. But I made sure that I stitched on all of them. The first one is Hickety Pickety. Now this is a great retreat piece because there's a lot of solid stitching. So I outlined everything. It took me like 2 or 3 days of stitching to outline. And then this was another one I ended up taking to school with me for a few days. And so all I have left is the rooster. And I worked on him at the retreat, but as you can see, I did not finish him. And this is all I'm doing with this piece. I am not doing this part over here. I don't think I'm doing the little chicks everywhere. I think I'm just doing the main attraction. And I was hoping to have it done to display this fall. Probably isn't going to happen, but that's okay. I'll have it for next fall. You're going to notice I like Brenda Gervais. That's not the first one that I am working on. All right, this next one was kind of a surprise to me. I realized that maybe I should plan a retreat start because, you know, that's a thing. But there was nothing that was really calling to me, and I definitely didn't want to have to count. So I was looking through my stuff and found Sarah Platt 1811. This is from Pineberry Lane. This was a gift to me from Ellen at our last retreat. She was stitching on it and finished it, and so she gave me the chart. And so I decided, well, I can start this and I can just stitch the outer border, right? There's no counting involved there. So that's exactly what I did. However, I am not using the called for colors. I liked the picture of the original sampler where there are more blues. And so when I was choosing my colors, this was the color palette that I used. Not that you'll be able to tell, because wait till you see. Can you even tell what I did? I didn't even cross the X's. I was just doing the border halfway around to make sure that it's going to meet. So anyway, I forget what I'm stitching this on. I don't even remember what color it is. It was from my stash. It's certainly not what's called for. But let me show you my color palette because I'm really excited about this one. And this one right here. So not that you can even see. I don't know, does that help? Oh, so many people do this so beautifully, and then there's me. So it's gonna be a good color palette, I think. I'm looking forward to watching this one develop. And I think this is going to be my last start of the year. All of these projects that I'm showing you right now are all my whips. That's all I have for whips. And so the only one that I want to carry over into 2023 is And They Sinned, which means I need to get some of these, or all of these, done before the new year. Now this one you've all seen. It's going to look like this. This was a Labor Day start with some of the Frugal Yankee Stitchers. And this is how far I've gotten. So at the retreat, I worked on filling in some of the bird, and then I worked on filling in some of the flower. I'm really upset because this was one of the few pieces in my whole life that I purchased the called for colors, and it was not cheap. And due to dye lots, I have no wing definition, and so I'm gonna have to do something. I'm not ripping out. I may have to take a darker color and just do like a half stitch over the top to get some wing definition in the bird. But the two called for colors were just too close together, and that makes me mad. Had I been able to buy them in person, I would have been like, oh, no, this isn't going to work. But you can't tell when you buy them online. Anyway, moving on. Another whip. Started this one last year. Agonized over the house color. Thought I had a color that worked. I think it's a color in cotton. I forget which one it is because it's lost its tag. But this is what it is. And it's not pink enough for me. I'm not a pink person. I don't want pinky, but I want some pink. And it does look like, let me see if I can do this for you. I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but it does look like this has some pink and some tan, which is exactly what I wanted. But it just doesn't translate to the fabric. It doesn't look bad, right? That doesn't look bad. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the house, I'm going to finish the birds, and I'm going to turn this into a small. Probably a pillow. I don't know. And then I will start this over when I can get to a LNS and actually see flosses. Speaking of getting to an LNS, New England is getting a new LNS. So Pam of Stitching in the Land of Good Enough, is that, I don't know if that's her exact channel name, but it's close enough. It's good enough. She is opening a store in North Attleboro, Massachusetts this week. And so, yes, I will go down and I will do some searching for some floss. She's got a whole wall of floss that I can't wait to see. Now this project, the last one that I'm going to show you, Again, I had everything outlined and ready to go for the retreat. And then I ended up spending some time on it in school. And so at the retreat, I was able to finish filling in Massachusetts. I still need to do Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, but that involved counting, and I wasn't going to do that at the retreat. So the story with this chart or pattern is, it is from Country Magic Stitches on Etsy. She has all of the states. She has Great Britain. She has Ontario. And I am here to tell you she now has Guam, because I bought these charts years ago, planning to stitch every state that we were stationed in, knowing that I was going to have to chart my own Guam. And so when I finally decided to start this, I said, I'm going to ask the designer if she could do Guam for me. What would it hurt, right? And so I sent her off an email, and she came back with, yes, I'll have it for you in 48 hours. And she did. $4. The best $4 I've ever spent in my life. So I will be doing one of these for Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Mississippi, Maryland, Illinois, Virginia, and Guam. I'm stitching them on 20 count Aida. I am loving 20 count Aida because I can stitch in hand. I was an in-hand stitcher up until I came back to cross-stitching in 2012-ish, and I wanted to stitch my samplers on linen, but I couldn't do it in hand. And so I started using Q-snaps and hoops and all whatever. And I still have to do that for linen. But I can do 20 count in hand, which means it's really easy for me to take to school. It's really easy for me to take in the car because I can see on 20 count well enough to stitch in the car. And yet from a distance, it doesn't look like you're stitching on Aida. And so 20 count is my go-to. You'll see that in a minute. Highly recommend you give it a try. All right, so those are all of my whips. That's everything that I stitched on at the retreat. So let me tell you about this retreat. I got there on Friday. There were a good amount of people there that came in on Thursday. I was not able to do that because it was eldest's 18th birthday. Originally, the band banquet was scheduled for that night, so they ended up moving it, but it was still her birthday. So I came in Friday morning. I left the house nice and early. It's all back roads for me the way that I went because there is a Hobby Lobby in Athol, Massachusetts that it's about 15-20 minutes out of my way to get to the farm, but it means that I can avoid Worcester rush hour, and it means I get to go to Hobby Lobby. So literally all back roads, not one highway. So I got to Hobby Lobby as soon as it opened. I had a nice relaxing walk around Hobby Lobby, which I think the last time I was at a Hobby Lobby might have been last February when I went to the one in Framingham with my best friend. So yeah, I was due for a Hobby Lobby visit. So I left there, got to the farm, got there at about 11 so I could visit with everyone and unpack in my room in time for lunch. And I'm sure you will hear other places, but the food at East Hill is amazing. I was worried it was just me thinking it was really good because I didn't have to cook it, but no, everyone raved about the food, and it's definitely worth the praise. So noon is lunch, so we had lunch at noon every day. I got some stitching in, we visited, I met so many new people. You guys, we had people fly in from California, we had people fly in from Florida, we had a gal fly in from Illinois to come with her sister who lives in Massachusetts. We had people drive up from Pennsylvania. Pam and Steph drove out from Ohio. Like, I was not expecting that. Because this is it's in the middle of nowhere. There's no cell reception. most people could not upload pictures, which is kind of disappointing because that means the rest of you at home who were wanting to live vicariously weren't getting a lot of pictures. But that's why we're in the middle of nowhere. There is no flying into the airport and taking an Uber to East Hill. So I was blown away by the fact that we had people traveling for, such distances to come to our retreat. And I was so worried that they would be disappointed. But it was a fantastic time, and they were not disappointed. And everyone who traveled has reservations for next year again. So that just tickled me. We had, I think the final count was 63, which was less than booked because there were a couple last minute cancellations. There are always a couple last minute cancellations, right? So I think we were at 63. It was a fantastic time. I was wondering how it would work out because we weren't all going to be in the same room, simply because they needed to be able to set up for meal times in the large room. So there's a smaller room off of the dining area where, maybe 24 people fit in there, and there were more tables in the larger dining area that weren't being used for eating, so people set up there. And then the great thing about the inn is that there are little living room areas all over. And so there were a couple people that were set up there, and they had fires going and wood stoves going, and it was just such a great atmosphere. Like I did at StitchCon, where I would stitch a thread or stitch a strand and then move on to another table. I tried to do the same thing this weekend because I wanted to meet everybody. And so I would go from table to table and room to room and stitch and talk and laugh, and it was so great to see so many people together once again, enjoying each other's company. So I think people are really ready. I think people are ready to be together, and I think we miss that. Even the introverts among us have missed our stitchy gatherings. So I will tell you this as far as next year goes, because I know a lot of people want to get in on it. The inn gave everyone who attended the option to reserve their room for next year. And I did not talk to one person who didn't reserve. So I know there were a couple leftover rooms because we weren't quite full because of the last minute cancellations. So I know that a couple new people have been able to reserve rooms for next year. If you have not been able to reserve, if you call and they're full, I don't want you to despair, because deposits aren't due until July. So I'm sure that when the inn starts calling people to get their deposits, some people may say, oh, I can't do it after all, and some rooms will open up then. Also, there's always last minute cancellations. So if you really want to go, reserve the weekend on your calendar and just start calling the inn as it gets closer and seeing if there are any cancellations. So that's what I have to say for you as far as that goes. It was a hugely successful retreat. I cannot tell you how wonderful the women were. Everyone seemed to have a great time. Randy from the World in Stitches was there as our vendor. She brought a trunk show, she brought models, she brought tons of linen and charts. The only thing she didn't bring was floss, because it's hard to pack and transport and display when you're in a room that isn't a cross-stitch shop. So I did get some linen, which I want to show you now. We were able to pre-order, and so I pre-ordered my 20 count Aida, and Randy came back and said, well, Seraphim doesn't usually dye 20 count. but she said that if I sent her the fabric, she would dye them for me. So that was awesome. So I got Dusty Road in 20 count, which is a great neutral with just a little bit of modeling in it. I was able to get some Bee's Knees in 20 count Ada. And then my third linen that I got is a Seraphim exclusive. She dyed this just for Randy and just for our retreat. I do not know if she's planning to add it to her lineup. I hope she does because it's a fantastic color. But it's kind of this grayish blue. It's more blue than I thought it was going to be, which is absolutely totally fine. But it is called Braying Donkey, after the donkeys at East Hill Farm. And so this is going to be perfect color. I love stitching Christmas and winter on blues. I wish I had waited to stitch the Plum Street one with George Washington. Oh, Blue Skin. This would have been a fabulous color to do blue skin on. So it looks like it might be getting washed out, but there you go. That might be better so that you can see the blue. So when I checked in with Randy halfway through the retreat, she had one piece of Braying Donkey left. So I imagine it's sold. I don't know if it's going to be part of the original lineup or not. So I think that's it in a nutshell. I'm 27 minutes in. I've got 3 minutes left. So I will call it a day here. It is the end of gardening season. I've got some chores to do out there today. I need to take down some of my tomatoes. I have dug the dahlias. I need to finish wrapping them and storing them. I will be dividing them in a few weeks, but not just yet. I'll show you what I'm surrounded by. Paper whites. Flower Farmer getting ready for Christmas, right? So I ordered these paper whites, but they are special. And they are special because they are scentless. Normal paper whites I love the look of, but they give me a headache. And so I bought 100 of these just to try to see how they go. If they are a success, then I will order more for next winter, and I will have them, I will be able to more widely distribute them. But they are all on the table here, along with some amaryllis that I'm just getting started. I don't think these are Dutch bulbs. Dutch bulbs take longer to blossom and bloom than the ones from the Middle East, so I'm not sure that they will actually be ready for Christmas, but certainly they will be ready to gift for Christmas. So that's what I'm up to. I also have the last of my tomatoes here ripening. I picked these on Monday, the last of them, because we were due for our first killing frost, which was extremely late for us here in New England. So yeah, it's gonna be mid-November and I'm gonna have garden tomato sandwich. I'm gonna enjoy every bite of it because it's gonna be the last. So that's what's going on here at the farm. I hope you're all doing well. Hopefully it won't be as long before I post between videos, because now that it's colder weather and I'm not out in the garden, I am stitching far more than I used to. So I will sign off here till we meet again. Bye, Flosstube.